Oi, punters, great news if you're a millionaire, because apparently 102 of you don't need to pay tax. Take a look at this. $102 millionaires pay no tax. Must be nice. More than 100 Australians earned more than $1 million in total income, yet paid no tax. That's per year, by the way. Would be very nice. This is 2 years ago. We are behind on the data here. When did this come out? 2024. Geez, we're going to be late at fixing these problems. If we're only getting the data now. Bloody hell. In the latest annual taxation statistics from tax returns reveals that a number of people who earned more than $1 million but paid no taxes climbed to 102 people, up from 66. So good on you, millionaires. More of you are telling your friends, hey, you know I paid no tax last year. Yeah, how'd you do it? Well, here's my accountant. He's not cheap, but he'll save you millions. Literally. Overall, these 102 millionaires claimed $279 million worth of deductions to reduce their tax bill. The vast bulk of it was $240 million in donations to tax-deductible charities. Now, there's something I need to look into. Are they really giving away their money, or are they just starting their own foundations that they can do what they want with their own money, but under the guise of charity? What a lot of these wealthy people do, and I don't know exactly what the rules are in Australia, but what they do is they start their own charity or foundation, and then they take their money that they would pay tax on and they shift it into the charity and the foundation. And depending on the country, there's not necessarily requirements that that charity has to actually spend the money. So it can kind of just sit there and grow and accumulate, and then they can just kind of use that money on whatever kind of pet project they want. They could lobby governments to do certain things that is in their best interest. I don't know. But these are some of the tricks that they use. I haven't looked into that one specifically, but there's something in that for sure. Net capital gains reported by individuals rose from 36 billion to 51 billion. What we are watching in slow motion, 2 years too late, is wealth inequality happening right now before our very eyes. But it doesn't happen with salaries and how much these people are earning. It happens from the capital that they are accruing over time. And this bloke on YouTube, you may or may not have seen him. His name is Gary, and his YouTube channel is Gary's Economics. He's British in the UK, but I think they're listening to him. They got the same issues that we have here in Australia. And he's talking about a story. Soon-to-be ex-Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has just reported his income, and it's a big story in the UK. Well, 4 months ago, a bit old. And his effective tax rate comes out at 23%, which I don't know about you punters, is lower than what I pay and probably what you pay. And his income is 2.2 million. Now, how do these wealthy, lucky punters, how do they do it? This bloke, Gary's Economics, this is what he's talking about, and he's going to bring up some interesting points. He explains it really well about the game that they get to play that we don't get to play. Why they get to pay not much in tax, and why they get to accumulate assets, and why we don't. Let's take a watch.
And as soon as I saw this story, the thing that jumped out at me was not Rishi Sunak's rate of tax that he paid. That is not unusual. In fact, most very, very wealthy people pay a lot lower rates of tax than that. The thing that jumped out of me was one number was obviously immediately wrong in this story, and nobody mentioned it. So Sunday Times Rich List had Rishi Sunak's net worth at something like 730 million. Let's take a conservative estimate, 500 million. So if Rishi Sunak was to take his 500 million and put it into a savings account, he would be making £25 million a year passive
25
income.
million passive income. He doesn't ever have to work, obviously.
Payment he gets for being Prime Minister or anything like that. £25 million a year passive income. How can it be that a man who makes £25 million a year passive income only makes £2 million a year? It doesn't make any sense to me. And as soon as I saw that number, as soon as I saw that article, I really wasn't interested in the tax rate he paid. I was interested in how can it be that his reported income is so much less than what his real income is. So I can basically tell you now the reason why his reported income is so low. Number one is because very wealthy people like Rishi Sunak, most of their wealth is in assets, And in many cases, most of their income from wealth comes in the form of capital gains, which is the...
So when you have that much money, and this is the difference between wealthy people like Rishi Sunak and punters like us, is that when you have that much money, you have enough money to buy anything and everything you want. So you don't need to draw down the money that you have sitting over there that gets taxed when it gets sold. So our wealth, we have to get the paycheck and then that gets taxed and then we save it up as much as we can. Whereas they have so much money that they can take the paycheck, maybe take a similar tax rate as to what we're getting, but then they keep all their money in assets and it just tax-free accumulates over decades and then generations. It just keeps accumulating and it doesn't get taxed. If I want to grow my asset portfolio, I have to take money that I've earned from a job, unless I start a business. I have to start, and this is most Aussie punters, you have to take the money you earned from a business and that gets taxed instantly. Whereas they're earning money in their little asset investments and it gets to accrue tax-free. Now, if I could do that and say, oh, I only need 20 grand, 30 grand a year to live, put the rest of my salary somewhere else. So tax me on my $30,000, which would be a very low 17% rate of tax of whatever's over $18,000. And then I'll leave the rest and then that can accumulate tax-free. And this is the clincher in Australia. I don't know about the UK. If you ever go to sell those assets, the tax rate I would pay when selling the asset is half what I would pay if I was earning the money with a regular job. So what that essentially means is the government taxes you more if you work for your money. If you sit your money in passive income, if you buy assets and let those things generate money, the tax rate on that when you sell the asset or you take money out of your trusts or accounts and things like that, the tax rate on that is half. So in Australia, if you've got lots of money, you're getting taxed at a lower tax rate than just everybody else is paying. So then when you're wealthy, your goal is to buy as many assets as you can. And if you're buying an asset with the hope that it gains value over time, you get to grow your wealth tax-free. We punters do not get to do that. It's a game that you can only play once you're at a certain level of wealth. So I, for one, will not be cheering on cutting taxes for this group of people who already have the tax system so rigged to their advantage that wealth inequality is just getting worse and worse and worse. And as we all are in stress and selling all our assets, oh, I can't afford this mortgage anymore, sell the house, can't afford this property anymore, sell the house, can't run this business anymore, sell the business. There's going to be one group of people ready and able to buy the assets that we had to sell to survive. And it's the wealthiest few percent of people. And they will buy all the assets and they'll do exactly what this little caption that Gary's put here says. The rich own everything. They will own everything. They're buying everything off the government. And then they hide their wealth from us. And so they do not contribute fairly to the very society that they rely on to protect their wealth, to defend their wealth in court, to use a stable society to sell your products in and to make money off. They are not contributing. And at worst, they're actually mining the public assets that we as taxpayers pulled our money together and bought public assets to go, hey, we need a medical system. We need these things to serve society. When these things go broke because we can't afford to run them, the wealthy are going to buy it. And then higher taxes are going to be the least of our worries because we're going to be paying exorbitant fees to get the basic stuff that we used to get for cheaper or free when we all owned the asset. So essentially, we are owning nothing, they are owning everything, and we are left to pay the price. So, bit of a tangent from here, but at the end of the day, millionaires can get out of paying tax, corporations can get out of paying tax, and there's only one group of people left holding the bag. And that's you, and that's me. Big topic, fact checks welcome, citations necessary below. I'm skimming a lot of big complex topics that, to be honest, are slightly above my pay grade, but I can sniff out some BS when I smell it. So massive thanks to We The Punters over on Patreon. If you want to show your support, head over there. And I've just launched a podcast if you want to check that out as well. So share this with a punter who might not know just how scammed we're getting. and I'll catch you then. Cheers, punts.